Last year, Australian government agencies had an early stumble at self-policing their own use of artificial intelligence. They were supposed to disclose how they were using the technology and pick one person to be accountable for its use. But dozens of them failed to do so by their deadline, prompting questions about the government's broader plans to leave AI rulemaking up to each agency. Cam Wilson is the ABC's national AI technology reporter and is with me in the studio now. Good to see you again, Cam.
Hi.
So firstly, can you tell us about how the Australian government is approaching making rules around how to use AI?
Yeah, sure. So last year, the Australian government was at a fork in the road. Initially, it had decided to go with and was proposing to go with an EU-style regulation that had a single AI Act and these broad rules in our law that would go across the whole country, everything. But after the 2025 federal election, instead, they decided to change that and go with a style that left the regulation for AI up to each of the government agencies, tasking them with looking at their own sector and saying, here's how you should use the technology, including self-policing themselves.
And how did the government agencies go at their first attempts?
Well, they didn't go so well at the first attempts. There were dozens of them that missed these basic expectations for telling the public how they're using AI. They were supposed to put out AI transparency statements that said, here's the technology we're using, here's what we're using it to do, here's how we're making sure that it is done in a safe way. And also some of them failed to nominate that one person who is supposed to be the person responsible for using the machine. So this was kind of this doesn't necessarily mean that these agencies were not using it safely, only necessarily that some of them didn't do these two tasks. That being said, without knowing how they're using it, disclosing it, without knowing who's responsible, it does make us very hard for us outside to, feel comfortable and trust in the use of it within government.
And what does this mean for their broader plans then?
Well, I mean, when you think about it, this decision to give all the agencies individually the task of dealing with this technology. They all have plenty on their plate at the moment, and AI, this new industry and new technology that is constantly changing, is extremely technical and complex. One of the challenges was that by giving it to all the agencies individually, it meant that maybe it wouldn't be top of their to-do list. Now, I should say that I think all of the government agencies are now compliant with those basic rules, and the government has now added new rules, and so we're actually getting more information and more disclosure. But yes, that was kind of an early pitfall of what happens if you say, rather than having one person responsible for it, we're giving it all up to you and you can manage it along with everything else.
Thank you, Cam.
Thank you.